Children, let us discuss some more questions and answers from the chapter Lost Spring. Children, we had started the second case study which talks about a boy named Mukesh. How Mukesh wants to be his own master and wishes to be a motor mechanic someday. We also read about the Firozabad slums and the slum dwellers involved in the bangle making business. So today's video lesson will be based on the second case study. Let us look at the first question, children. How is being born as a bangle maker both a destiny and a curse? You have to pay attention over here, children, that we need to focus our answer on two aspects. One is that how is being born as a bangle maker a destiny, and a curse. Destiny, that they have no choice, it has to be, and a curse. Why is it a curse? The health hazards that are associated with it makes it a curse. Now children, we had read on page 17 that Mukesh, he leads the author to the slums of Firozabad, and there we are introduced to the world of these bangle makers. Now let us read what is written in the answer. By virtue of their birth, the bangle makers are, children, you can make a change over here, children. Instead of gone, please write forcibly pushed into a world of poverty and live with the stigma of their caste. Okay, so just make that change. Instead of gone, please write there forcibly pushed. Forcibly pushed. F-O-R-C-I-B-L-Y. Forcibly pushed. Now, by virtue, children, by virtue means as a result of. Now, because they have taken birth in a poverty-stricken family, that of a bangle maker, already the family was into the business of making bangles. So, as a result of their birth, the bangle makers, they are forcibly pushed. They have no choice, but they are forcibly pushed into a world of poverty, and they live with the stigma of their caste. Stigma over here, children, it means a shame or a disgrace or a blot. So their caste is like a shame, a disgrace or a blot, okay, for them. At a very young age, they take up the profession of bangle making, and that is when their destiny becomes a curse. Okay, their destiny becomes a curse. And why it becomes a curse? As they come in the grip of the vicious, okay, they come into the grip of the vicious circle of constant exploitation by middlemen, by the bureaucrats, by the authority and the lawmakers of the society, children. The rich and the powerful, they constitute, they exploit the middlemen, the bureaucrats, the lawmakers, the policemen. They all constitute the rich and the powerful in the society. They live a miserable existence in perpetual poverty. Now, their existence, it's miserable, okay, and they live in a constant state of poverty, perpetual poverty, a constant state of poverty. They lose their eyesight and any desire to dream. So children, loss of eyesight is again metaphorical over here. Loss of eyesight means what? Their future, they cannot see their future. It's all dark, gloomy, okay. So devoid of any hope, devoid of any light or a future that can paint a promising picture for them. So they lose their eyesight and any desire to dream, and hence they don't have any desire to dream. Because they have lost their eyesight, they have also lost the desire to dream. So it is both correlated over here. Let us move on to the next question now. Let us take up the next question now. How is Mukesh different from his peers? Children, peers means of the same age. So how is Mukesh different from the children of his age? Now we had read on page 17, children, that Mukesh, he insists on being his own master. And how would he fulfill this dream? I will be a motor mechanic, he announces. So he announces to the author that he would become a motor mechanic one day. And then he leads Anis Jung to his slum, which is situated at Firozabad. Here we are introduced to the world of the bangle makers. Now let us read what is written in the answer, children. Mukesh, yes, he is different. And why is he different? Because he dares to dream. Has the makings of a renegade. Children, renegade means a kind of a rebel, you know, who raises his voice or betrays the set rules. It was destined as if the child of a bangle maker would become a bangle maker in the future. But then Mukesh, he dares to dream and he dares to think beyond. What does he want to become? Not a bangle maker, but he wants to become a motor mechanic. Like his peers, like the children of his age, he does not meekly submit himself to the laid down rules and regulations, the line of business that has been carved by the family. Okay, it was a family business. He did not want to carry forward, but he wanted to break through. And hence there was this making of a renegade in him, a kind of a rebel. He was a kind of a rebel. Okay. Is unlike his peers who have lost all initiatives. They are not taking any initiatives and they are not even daring to dream. So they have lost that sense of daring and that power to dream. Mukesh has the spark of breaking away from the barrier of caste into which he is born. Now, not just he dreams, he also has that spark, that motivation inside him to break away from the stigma, from this barrier that caste has laid down on him. Okay, he dares to dream and has the necessary willpower, courage and determination to realize or achieve his dream and is ready to resist the forces that exploit them. So the forces that pull him back, that prevents him from achieving his dream, he is ready to raise his voice against them. Okay, he has that determination, he has that courage. If you remember, we had read about a boy, one unnoted boy who occupied the back seat in the classroom. Where did we read about this boy? In the poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. We read this, right? Even that boy, he was different from his classmates. Why? Because he had a hope, a dream in his eyes. He wanted to go outside these four walls of the classroom, which was not promising him a better future. He wanted to go out of it. In the same way, Mukesh wanted to break these barriers and move out of his caste stigma. Wanted to break off these shackles, okay, which were forcing him to take up the business of bangle making. So there was this making of a renegade in him. A new word, children. Please use this content and the points that I have just discussed to write similar answers. Let's move on to the next question now. Children, the next question and another important question of the chapter. Why does the author say that Mukesh's dream is like a mirage? Again on page 17, children, The third paragraph, I will learn to drive a car, he answers, looking straight into my eyes. His dream looms like a mirage amidst the dust of streets that fill his town, Firozabad. So, we had discussed that what is a mirage, children? It's like an illusion. Okay? It appears like a dream which can never be fulfilled. It's like a mirage, it's an illusion. The closer you go, the far it goes, isn't it? So it's like a mirage, something that is unachievable. It's just an illusion. He can just dream, he can never realize that dream. Let's read what is written, children. Mukesh, okay, the author is happy to see a spark of daring in Mukesh when he insists that he wants to be his own master. So the author, he appreciates this fact in Mukesh that at least he dares to dream. However, she likens or compares his dream to a mirage because she is not sure whether Mukesh will be able to resist the forces that may pull him down. She is not sure that whether Mukesh will ever be able to break these shackles or the stigma of the caste system in which he is so deeply rooted. She is not sure of it. It could be that society, the vicious circle, overpowers him, isn't it? So she is not sure, and hence she feels that his dream is like a mirage. His own world of poverty, the caste and the vicious circle, which is the nexus of sahukars, the policeman, the bureaucrats, the politicians, etc. It's like over here a gathering. They all have gathered together and planning, hatching a plot to keep these bangle makers trapped, okay, and never let them go out of this vicious circle. God-given lineage, the vicious nebula may not be possible for Mukesh to break through. Maybe this vicious circle, he'll never be able to go out of it, according to the writer. Boys like him have forgotten to dream due to lack of initiatives. Now, these initiatives, children, it has to come from the rich and the powerful, the lawmakers in the society. But these lawmakers themselves are hand in gloves in keeping these bangle makers deeply rooted in their stigma of caste system, in this profession of making bangles, right? So they turn their face, they are apathetic towards them. The rules and the regulations are just there written on a paper but never realized. So there is lack of initiative, and hence the author, she is not sure will ever Mukesh be able to break these shackles or barriers and come out victorious. Let's move on to the next question now. Mention the hazards of working in a glass bangles industry. Okay, let's read this answer. Firozabad is a disorganized town with neither the necessary infrastructure nor amenities. People work in ill-lit, ill-ventilated, dingy hovels before furnaces that have high temperatures. The hazards that they are exposed to are loss of eyesight due to lack of protective eye gears, and they work in dim light. They suffer from bronchial disorders, skin eruptions, they are all malnourished, and they age before time. So these are all the hazards of working in a glass bangle industry, children. Ill ventilated, ill lit means what? There is no proper ventilation, nor is the room, the dingy hovels, they are working in, there is no scope of light, sunlight, natural light. There is no scope of it. So it remains dark and gloomy like hovels. High temperature, they are exposed to high temperature of the furnace, and the fumes that arise from melting of the glass, children, it causes bronchial disorders, skin eruptions, because it is a very ill-paid job. They are earning very little. The people, they mainly suffer from malnutrition. Okay, so they suffer from malnutrition and they age before time. So these were some important questions and answers, children. I have discussed them all with you. We shall be proceeding with the explanation of the chapter in our next live class. Thank you.